In today's video, we're talking dieting mistakes. Welcome to the video, guys. My name is Tyler, also known as the Fit Chemist, and I help people take control of their lives by taking control of their fitness and nutrition habits so that ultimately we can lead healthier and happier lives. So if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing. Turn those notification bells on so you don't miss when I post new videos. And if you are returning, welcome back. I am so glad that you are here. I'm not sure where you're watching this from or when you are watching this, but at the time of filming, I will let you know that summer is finally here in Boston. The last 3 days have been 80 degrees and sunny. It's been beautiful weather, and that got me thinking there's probably a bunch of people out there right now that are either currently dieting or they're gonna start dieting soon, because you gotta start working on that beach body sometime, right? So what we're gonna do in today's video, I'm gonna share the top 10 mistakes that I see when it comes to ruining your diet or ruining your fat loss and why you should stop doing them. Make sure you stick around to the end because I may or may not be adding 2 bonus tips to make this a 12-tip video, but I don't know, you gotta stick around to the end and find out. I'm just gonna rattle these off here, but I will say I'm gonna break this video up into chapters, and if you don't know what that means, YouTube has a feature that you can actually break up the timeline of the video. So you see along the bottom here that the video is actually broken up, and then I also have the number of the tip that we're going on. So let's say you miss one or you really like one and you wanna revisit it, all you have to do is just scrub through the timeline and you'll see what section you are in. But with that, let's get into tip number 1. Tip number 1 is going to be eating back calories burned and or overestimating the amount of calories you burned. I'd say both of these fall into the same category. It's detrimental to your diet. The reason I say that is because I did an entire video on how inaccurate your smartwatches are, and a lot of people will rely on that or the value that the cardio machine they're using is telling them, and those are quite inaccurate. So let's say you burned 300 calories, but your watch is telling you burned 500. If you go back and you eat 500 calories, well, you actually just put yourself in a 200 calorie surplus, which is going to ruin your diet. I really don't understand why people eat the calories burned back, because the exercise that you are doing is helping you create that calorie deficit in the first place. So please stop doing this. Tip number 2 is going to be consuming too many liquid calories, and that includes alcohol, which we will get to in a second. But my recommendation would be try to stick to water as much as possible. If you're having things like soda, that's 200 to 250 calories depending on the size of the soda that you had. Those are empty calories. I would much rather see someone eat those calories because that's going to keep them more full throughout the day, and then they're going to be less likely to overeat. It is possible to lose weight on alcohol. In fact, I did an entire video about this. I'll put the thumbnail somewhere over here, and then I'll link that video description somewhere up there as well. If you're interested in watching that, I do an in-depth tutorial on how to actually consume alcohol and still lose fat, so it can be done. However, like I said with the previous example of liquid calories, I would suggest trying to cut it out as much as possible because those are just going to be empty calories. The other thing that you need to keep in mind about alcohol is that oftentimes you're going to be consuming it with other liquid calories. So whatever mixed drink you're making, you have to take into account the alcohol calories, and you also have to take into account the calories from whatever other liquid you're mixing that drink with. And then oftentimes if you're drinking, you're going to be eating. So if you're going and getting drunk at the bars, you're probably going to get some bar food afterwards. So if you're going to have alcohol and try to lose fat, do your best to plan ahead and pick as many low-calorie options as possible. The next one is somewhat related to alcohol, but it's going to be weekend inconsistencies. If you are doing everything right, working out, tracking your nutrition, weighing in, all that stuff Monday through Friday, but then as soon as the weekend rolls around and you fall off track Saturday and Sunday, that is going to be absolutely detrimental to your diet. Unfortunately, calories still do count on the weekends. Number 4 is going to be not accurately tracking high-fat foods. So what do I mean by that? I mean things like oils, so nut butters, peanut butter, almond butter, etc., and then also things like salad dressings. So all of these are pretty small portion sizes, but they are calorie packed. So if you overconsume just a little bit, that can actually come with quite a large amount of calories. So my recommendation for this would be to use a scale and be as accurate as possible. And then also, if you're cooking with oils, you have to track that oil that you're putting into the pan when you're cooking, because your protein source or whatever else you're cooking is going to absorb that oil, and those calories don't just disappear. So be mindful of what you are adding into your dishes if you're cooking them. Number 5 is going to be not eating enough protein. So protein is the most satiating macronutrient out of the 3. Remember, we have protein, carbs, and fats. Protein will keep you the most full throughout the day, so not only will it do this, but it will help you build muscle. If you have more muscle, that is a more metabolically active tissue, meaning that your maintenance calories will actually increase with an increasing amount of muscle mass. So over time, if you are eating more protein and putting on more muscle, you can actually diet on a higher amount of calories. We'll get back into the rest of them in just 1 second, but my question of the day is, what do you think your biggest mistake is when it comes to dieting after watching this video? And if there are any that I missed, let me know down in the comments below. But with that, let's get back into it. Number 6 is going to be losing track of your snacks. So I know it's tough. I've been there. I want to snack all the time, especially when you're on a diet, but calories from snacks still count. So whether you're going to the pantry and you're having a small handful of cereal, or you have almonds out on your counter at home and you just grab a couple of those, or maybe at work at the front desk you have a small bowl of M&Ms and you eat a couple of those as you walk in, maybe you have some as you walk out. Those are all calories that will add up throughout the day, and if you're not tracking everything that's going into your mouth, you could be putting yourself in a calorie surplus and ruining your deficit without knowing it. One tip I have to actually mitigate this mistake is to try and follow a rule that you should be sitting every time you are eating. This is going to encourage you to not overeat and try to reduce the amount of times you're snacking, and basically just encourage you to have larger meals that you're actually going to sit down for and enjoy. Number 7 is going to be only doing cardio. So yes, cardio does help with fat loss because it's helping you burn more calories. However, it does nothing to improve your body composition besides for burn those calories and maybe get rid of some fat. I think everybody who is on a diet should be doing some combination of both cardio and weightlifting, because as I mentioned earlier, if you have more muscle on your body, that's more metabolically active and that's going to increase your maintenance calories, and you're not going to get any muscle on your frame by only doing cardio. Number 8 is going to be doing some sort of fad diet. I swear I say this in every video I make about dieting. You should be following a diet that is sustainable for you. If you can't see yourself eating the way that you're currently eating 1 year from now, this is not the diet for you. So the classic example that I always give is, if you like eating carbs, the keto diet is not for you. Even if you have short-term results, let's say 8 to 10 weeks, if you go back to eating carbs and then that's not sustainable for fat loss, well, guess what? You're just going to put that weight back on and you're going to have to go back to keto at some point to get that weight off. So you have to find a diet that you can adhere to, and please make sure it's not one of these fad diets. Number 9 is going to be not having a supportive environment. So that's not typically a mistake that you think of. However, it can actually make quite a big impact. Think about it. If you have friends or family that once the weekend comes around, they want you to come out, they want you to have fun with them, go drinking, go to this social event, go out to dinner this day, go out again the next night and have lunch, dinner, whatever it might be. Those are extra calories that are going to add up. It's going to take time away from your exercising, especially if you're waking up hungover the next morning and you have to miss lifts or workouts. You can just spiral out of that really, really quickly. So it is important to have a supportive group of friends and family around you who are actually going to help you and encourage you to reach your goals. Now, I'm not saying that you just need to go and cut everybody out of your life who's not supportive of your goals. However, I do think it would be a good idea to have a conversation with the people that are close to you about why you have this goal, what the goal is, and what you're doing to achieve that goal, and then talk about, what sacrifices that both you and that other person might have to make in order for you to reach those goals. And again, just really emphasize why this goal is important to you, and I'm sure they'll be very understanding of that and actually help you and support you in getting to that goal. The last one, which is related to not having a supportive environment, is not hiring a coach. So there are some people who can actually do quite well dieting on their own. However, there are people out there who they get to a point where they might feel stuck, or they don't know what to do, or they're having a specific issue that a coach might know how to overcome or to help them. So I think having someone there who's much more knowledgeable than you are to give you guidance and support along the way might make a world of difference when it comes to your fat loss. If anyone falls into this category and they are looking for a little bit of guidance, I am an online fitness coach, so you can go ahead to my website. I'll link it down below. You can check out the services tab and see what kind of services I do offer for someone like you. And if that interests you, I'd be more than happy to help you achieve your goals. But if not, I'm sure there are plenty of great coaches out there that you could potentially find. But having a great coach and having a great supportive network of friends and family are going to be huge in helping you get to your goals. So hopefully after watching this video, you now either A, know what mistakes you need to cut out if you're currently dieting, or B, if you're about to start a diet, you know what mistakes you should not be making. So feel free to revisit this video, watch it in 2x speed, I don't really care, but these 10 tips are going to help you immensely when it comes to not ruining your fat loss. I also have an entire series on how to diet, which I will link down below, but I lay out everything you possibly need to know when it comes to dieting. So if you're a little bit shy and maybe you don't want to hire a coach and you want to try doing things on your own, you can do that as well. So again, that will be linked down below. You can go ahead, binge watch that series after this, and then become a fat loss pro. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was thinking about giving you 2 more bonus tips. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So number 11 is going to be getting enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, the hunger hormone ghrelin will actually increase quite a lot. That's the hunger hormone. So that means if you don't get a good night of sleep, the next day you're going to be very hungry, you're going to have increased cravings, you're going to want to eat all the time, and that's going to make it very hard for you to stay in a calorie deficit. So please get in bed at a good time, get a full night of sleep, so then that way that ghrelin hormone is sort of suppressed, more so than it would be if you had a shorter night of sleep, which will make it easier to stay in a calorie deficit the next day. And then the last mistake that I see is people are not drinking enough water, so that sort of ties into consuming excess liquid calories. However, water is just so important for so many biological processes, but it's also going to keep you full for 0 calories. So a tip that I have for clients is when you sit down to eat a meal, chug a big glass of water before having that meal, and you're probably going to feel way more full than if you were to drink the water after. I think shooting for roughly a gallon a day is a good goal to have, but I realize that is a lot for some people, so you could potentially start with 3 bottles of water and then work your way up from there. But honestly, most people that I see should probably just increase their water intake to begin with, and again, reduce some of those other liquid calories that we are consuming. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below, and again, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, turn those notification bells on, because I post new videos every single Friday and you do not want to miss when they go live. And with that, I will see you in the next video.